So you destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and
my bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What? You got to have vision. You got to have vision. You got to have vision.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
And you two motherfuckers need Jesus.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes.
To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the center. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. That must be my cue. That must be my cue to come on in. And tonight we're just having copper, sugar infused water. So pop them if you got them. And we are eating on the vegan gummies. And they're not even strong. They're strong enough. And we're smoking on the Unicorn Luca. So smoke them if you want them. Well, I guess the obvious thing to speak about is the game tonight. The games tonight. There we go. And I mean, the last game, the effort just wasn't there. I even say the Sixers didn't even show a lot of effort. Because remember, in the first half, it was a decent lead. And they were playing catch up. But it seemed like a lack of effort at a certain point, even the Sixers game. But remember, I think Lobo even made a point of this one other game. Durant didn't even take a shot in the first quarter. He didn't even take a shot. And so sometimes this is telling on how they're scripting it. But he didn't even take a shot. I mean, how is that? How don't you even take a shot in the first quarter? Now, when they lost another game, we saw something similar. Where remember the one game Durant had 13 in the second quarter, but he didn't shoot in the first and third quarters. So when you see he loses, what do you think? So it's just not good entertainment. Well, that put some shit on my mind. Ooh. OTF, welcome.
Got to have vision.
You mean LeBron? Hey, what's happening? Daryl Jones, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
They were not trying to win. Yeah, exactly. With Ayton sitting out, we knew. Yeah. It did not seem like the Warriors were trying to win it all. Or not the Warriors, but the Sixers were trying to win it all. You would have thought the effort would have been a little more intense on both ends, and it really wasn't. And so, again, we see what the script was. That's why, I made a video where he said, way to manage the game. And I, again, caught him with his words, but that's what it is. It's game management. They were managing the script the way they wrote it up. And that's, the coach was letting his guys know that they was pleased that the script was going the way it was supposed to go. And it seems like they don't have any other, they don't want to, barn burner. They don't want it to go into the very end. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like they just want, the blowouts is comfortable for the league. And even though people turn off at halftime, the blowouts are comfortable for the league. I'll say that. The tribe of Judah. What's happening?
Got to have vision.
Yeah, their product is bad. PJ Allen, what's happening?
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
El Dragon, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
Indeed. I didn't know Michael Jordan's dad was murdered that forced him to retire. I don't know if it forced him to retire, but the gambling thing has always been heavy on Mike. It's always been hard for Mike to is just this? Yeah. Why is it so tight all of a sudden? Oh, okay. That's why. So it's always been hard for Mike to, get that off his back. But it's always been speculated that, this was one of his early sacrifices. So that's what the speculation has been. It was like, who's the one? And then, they start putting them stories about the daddy's this and the daddy's that, and the dad had illegitimate children, and the dad, encouraged Mike's gambling. And even though a lot of that could have been true, still, like, there's a picture of old Pops. There's a picture of Pop James or Jordan, Pop Jordan. He's in the North Carolina locker room with a lit square. He is smoking a cigarette in the North Carolina locker room, which he was probably smoking a cigarette in, back then in the 80s, you probably still could smoke in the stadium. But that's an interesting picture if you can find it, that he is smoking a cigarette in the college locker room. I remember going back to North Carolina in 88 and being in the supermarket, and it was a woman smoking it down in North Carolina in the supermarket. She's getting her groceries and she's just smoking a cigarette. And in Michigan, they had already outlawed that. And I'd already been gone just a couple years, but I thought that was interesting. So, he's the only black owner. Why sell the team? Well, he's selling the team for a couple reasons. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to be a operating partner, to be the full majority partner. That's almost a full-time job. And he's got the Jordan brand that's making just as almost money as the team is generating. And he's got other interests. And so by taking a lesser role, that might be what it takes for that franchise to win. Him taking a lesser role. So we'll see how that works out, but that's what I'm guessing, and just other opportunities, and it's less stressful, so why not? Why not step away? I think he's achieved everything he wanted to achieve, other than being a championship team as an owner. But does that really matter? I mean, you have a successful. You took $300 million and turned it into $1 billion. I mean, that alone is a great achievement. He literally took $300 million and turned it into $1 billion. So that in itself was a great achievement, to make that franchise worth $1 billion when his initial loan was about $300 million. I mean, so he did his thing. I mean, look up here in North Carolina, the way Taylor is giving away his stuff. They had, like, this is their second payment. Like, they're going 250. So they're into 500 million, I think, right now. They're like they're buying is either 500 million or they're 750 million, something like that. But they're closer to the buyout thing. So even A-Rod, they're not still hold the majority interest. So it takes a process. And so that's all. It's been, it's been a nice run. He has younger children still. He has adult children, but he still has younger children. So wants to enjoy them. And other things, instead of worrying about who you're drafting, worry about who coaching, let other people worry about it. Yep. You see, yeah, Chiefs guy, I saw The Last Dance. And it was petty. He was petty on a lot of ways. Jordan, it was like Mr. Petty was coming out. He was Mr. Petty coming out. Petty on Scotty's contract. I mean, why talk dirt on Scotty now? Like all these years later, it just didn't make sense. Now I can understand him not liking Isaiah. It's a competition thing. Isaiah's paid a deep price for, the things he said about Magic, the things he said about Jordan, and the relationship with both of them. He's paid a heavy price. And there are the two sides to every story. Because as I said before, Isaiah, Mark Aguirre, and a bunch of them, they blame Magic and them. They blame Magic mostly for Dr. Tucker stealing from all of them. And so you can see there was so that's why I think when some stuff came out about Magic, Isaiah, went to the choir and saying, Magic was and he wasn't wrong, saying that Magic was with trans people and all that. He wasn't wrong. Magic would do anybody. Magic, Will Smith was the two most to do anybody. But that's why he wanted to put some fuel on that fire. He was upset with Magic because he thought Magic had his hand against the money, getting cheated because Dr. Tucker was their guy. So that's where the real feud comes from. And Magic did probably handle Mark Aguirre, Jay Vincent, and Isaiah. Magic helped in bringing them in. But as I mentioned, Isaiah went to Dr. Tucker's camp when we was in 8th grade. So it was like Magic was, one of the first that really could show them the life. Because he was so cool with both of them. Like when Magic would go put an exhibition on in Chicago, those was his guys. Remember, like people, one of the biggest things that Magic did for Isaiah Thomas, remember the Olympic team didn't get to go to the Olympics in 1980. They boycotted. And so all summer, Isaiah and the Olympic team played against Magic and other pros. And I know people didn't really watch Isaiah when I was a freshman. He was a freshman, but I did. And the growth was amazing. The growth was amazing from playing against, these exhibition games against pros night in and night out all summer. He got so much better. His confidence really grew. And when he went into the Pistons, he had all the confidence because he was already playing against these guys. So he already knew. I already knew he could hold his own. So, and so, we got to look at the whole story. When we look at these guys, we have to look at the whole story. And that's, that's part of the story as well. You have to look at some of Isaiah's success. In some ways, Magic did help tremendously. So, a lot of ways to look at it. So, and I'm sure, behind the cameras, they got to tell the deal about the bread, that, Magic wasn't liable for that bread. I mean, Magic took a hit from Dr. Tucker too. He got them all. So, just keep that in mind, baby. But yeah, the games was disappointing. That last game, you could just see. I mean, that was the Golden State way. Golden State way was to get rid of the game in the first half. They was getting beaten teams by 40 in the first quarter. That was 2016, and that looks like the replay they just did today. They did that replay today. Just blow out 9. We don't care if we lose. The audience go watch hockey. Hell, the hockey game was 4-2, I think, when it ended. When I quit watching it with about 2 minutes left, the Kraken and the North Star. I think the North Stars was about to win. Yeah, because the Krakens had pulled their goalie. Because I was going back and forth. The Kraken had pulled their goalie. So I'm pretty sure the North Star still won. It was only about a minute left. I can look it up. Federal ban on selling handguns to 18 to 20-year-old judge says unconstitutional. What is the score? Oh. N. H. Here we go. Okay, the Oilers beat the Golden Knights 4-1 on Wednesday. And then the Hurricanes won 3-2 yesterday. And then, the Kraken ended up 5-2. So when they pulled the goalie, they got an extra goal. So Dallas leads 5-2. Yeah. So it's a great time of year and then, the XFL championship is this weekend. So it's a great time of year for sports fans. What's up? The Pistons and Knicks. I have not been to any Twins games. We were looking today. We were looking today. I can't work right now. To go see. Yeah, I had it to go see the Saints game, the baseball team. You know, the Saints. That's what we were looking. We were looking at the same packages, but we're gonna go see a couple games. We'll see a couple games. We just haven't seen any yet. And the Twins won today. The Twins beat the Padres today. So no, not yet, but I will be. Warriors coming back 3-1, payback from the 16. Clay might be the big part of the script. You could be right. You could be right. The Pistons and Knicks and Bulls was tough battles. Agreed. Tough games. Something up from Jordan and Pippen. I find it funny that Jordan's son is knocking down Pippen's ex-wife. Jordan is kind of a comedian. Yeah, that is like the ultimate disrespect for some reason. And I don't know. I think it's mighty odd. All right. All right. I do think it's odd that the young man would be attracted to her. Again, is it a gimmick? Maybe. A lot of times they're forced into relationships, and maybe that's the way to initiate, that son, because that's what, a lot of times you get initiated, and that's what could be for him. She could be a jump off, get him initiated into the system more and more. The way the Kardashian girls, that's what she used to be. They was jump offs to a certain point. Then they move up, and so that's probably what he's going through. So he's probably forced to be with her. I'm guessing. Oh, last minute productions. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking is it's some kind of jump off for him. It's some kind of sexual initiation for him. And so right now he has to be with her. Because I can't say he looks real comfortable. A lot of the stories is like the weirdest stories. Like he buys her a pair of Jordans. Who cares? Who cares that he buys her a pair of Jordans? I mean, it's just like, it seems so artificial. Like they got to make up stuff. So I don't know, y'all. That call is hard. That's a hard one to call. That's a hard one to call. Jordan is. Do you see the Warriors coming back? Hey, Woke. Thank you for joining.
Got to have vision.
I could see them coming back, but I think they really want to push this LeBron thing. I think they really do. Because again, they don't like the new teams winning. And I don't know. I mean, what's more marketable? The Warriors and the Joker, or LeBron, the Lakers and Denver? Denver Warriors, Denver Lakers. What's more marketable? And I think the answer would be the Lakers would be more marketable. I mean, they can't lose because one way or the other the conference finals is going to be in California, so California wins. But I just find it more marketable because really, now on the other hand, the Warriors don't match up well with Denver. Looney's not going to be able to do anything against the Joker. He's a lot better defender. He's not glass like Anthony Davis. Because we know Anthony Davis is glass. That's why everybody clowned him. Shaq clowned him. Kenny clowned him. And Charles Barkley clowned him. I can't lift my finger up. And Kenny was doing like this, from his wheelchair. He's doing like this. Everybody, even Stephen A. Smith. And then they got on Stephen A. Smith because they clowned him. Because when you get hit, your natural thing is to run back down there. not sit there and stunned like it's a heavyweight fight. And your natural your reflexes is to run back down court and complain that you got fouled. That's reflex wise. Dr. Sinister.
Got to have vision.
I got the Lakers winning, but I'll see. I still have the Lakers winning it too. I think it's just more marketable. The Lakers are a better matchup too to Denver. The Warriors are really not a great matchup. And then they're going to try to say, well, the Warriors shooting. But again, what did we see the Warriors try to do? Get the ball inside on the Lakers. They're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to do that against that Denver team. So it's really a bad matchup. If you would say a way for Denver to go in is to, if they win, they should beat the Warriors. The Warriors should beat, Denver should beat them easy. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver would sweep the Warriors because they're just not a good matchup for them. And I think Denver's 3-0 against them this year. So that to me, if they wanted Denver to move on, they would put Denver against the Warriors because LA matches up a little better with Denver than what the Warriors do. And the Warriors really don't match up with any team like coming out of the East. They don't really match up well. I mean, last year again, we know how they who they want champion, they can make champion, but they really don't even match up well with Boston, and they don't match up well. They don't match up well with Philadelphia either. I mean, they have no real big presence. Looney is, they're inflating his play. His play is being inflated. So I don't know. I don't understand. Like, they really will take a beating. They really will. They'll take a ratings beating. They'll take the fans going home early. Remember, the fans in Phoenix was booing them. They was literally booing them. Y'all remember that? The fans was booing like before halftime. The Denver fans was booing. They were literally booing. They was like, "Get this, man. These mugs is tripping." So I don't know. The Celtics beat 70. Yeah, I saw that. Woke.
Got to have vision.
Thank you for joining. Do you think? Well, I'll say this: what could be. This could be the stage they're trying to set. We have to look at two possibilities of scenarios. Say they do, and Denver makes the finals. Now, again, we've had Joker, who's won the last two MVPs, and you got Embiid to win it this year. Now, are they going to let Joker beat this foreigner? Because then you got two foreigners. I mean, we're barking about foreigners get it, but they gave it the MVP to another foreigner. That's 4 years in a row they've given the MVP to foreigners. 4 years in a row, foreigners have got the MVPs. So subliminal, that's telling you we think the foreigners are bigger attraction than you American players. That's what subliminal that tells you. They're telling you that the best players come from around the world, not necessarily America's anymore. So could they be saying, okay, we gave Embiid the MVP, we give Joker the championship? Now that could be a very real scenario, the way they do things. Or do they want to cement the decision of Embiid getting the championship and Embiid beating Denver? That's a possibility too. Or we could have, if the Boston gets in, Denver gets in, we could definitely have the ABA against the NBA, the traditional against the new start. And if it's Boston, I'd pretty say if Denver goes in, I really don't see them winning it because, again, only one ABA team has won it. Now, will they break that this year? I doubt it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. That's my only way is that's how they do things. Because if they do that, if say the Sixers make it and Denver goes, then they have, the ex-MVP against the new ones. And if that's the scenario, Denver would beat Philadelphia. Just because to show you, well, you got the MVP. Because it's like Karl Malone. You remember them years that Jordan won? Karl Malone got the MVP, but Jordan won the championship. So we could be looking at something like that too. We could keep that scenario in mind because that scenario very well could happen as well. So Warriors literally don't have no one that can guard AD. Yeah, other than AD getting hurt. But yeah, PJ, yeah. And yeah, there's no one like the same thing. Everybody that the Warriors would match up against, there's no one to guard their big people. And then they're going to try to tell you, like this last game was so bad where Green is the superstar of the game. Get out of here with that. No one believes that Green should score 20 points. Like when Green, I said last night, when Green hit his three, that was his first three of the series. So 5 games, he hadn't even hit a three. All of a sudden, you see when they're giving him layups, and you can tell they run an offense. I mean, you can even see like sometimes when they'll steal the ball. It seems like they don't steal the ball. They shouldn't have stolen the ball. Do you guys notice how many times they steal the ball and then they give the ball right back? And it's almost like those kind of plays almost make you think that they weren't supposed to steal the ball. That's what I've always got out of it. I was like, they wasn't supposed to steal it, so they gave it right back. Because what's the odds of just sloppy basketball back and forth like that we see? So that's what I think to me. Like even games where you see that in a football game, the quarterback will throw an interception or be a fumble, and then they come back out and fumble it right back to him. See, you see a play that wasn't supposed to happen, and they're trying to correct it. They're trying to correct it. That's what it appears. In basketball, it seems like it's a lot of those type of corrections. Like you wasn't supposed to steal it, but it was so lazy and you just couldn't help it yourself. And remember what Charles Barkley, he was harping for. He wanted game 7s. Remember that? He was like, I want some game 7s. I want to see some game 7s. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. We need some game 7s. I want some game 7s. And Charles, for all his folly and playing the fool, what Charles gave to basketball, like I'll tell you, when I talk about Tim Reed, the guy I got to see and play some semi-pro with, him and Charles were like, they were about the same size. I'd say Tim was a better outside shooter. Yeah, Tim could shoot threes consistently. But they both had that where you were so strong you could take anybody. As I've said, Tim is the only player I've watched where 5 dudes would press him, and he literally was strong enough to break the press by himself. And I mean, never have to turn his back handling the ball, maybe turn to the side, but like with the 5 dudes, he would never try to turn his back. He could physically just face everybody and keep going forward, but he was strong like that. And Barkley kind of was like a strong player, could really, you remember they changed the rules against Barkley because Barkley could literally get the ball from anybody and back anybody down and score. And that was Adrian Dantley's game. That's the same thing Adrian Dantley did, Truck Robertson. I'm trying to think, it's a couple other cats, but Adrian Dantley was probably the best at that. It didn't matter who you put on him, he could score on anybody by literally just backing them down, dribble, but anybody. And then finally, when Barkley did it and they couldn't stop anybody, and they say people didn't like it, but I mean, he literally could back anybody down and score on anybody. And that was new to the game. That was really new to the game once he got close enough inside. Because remember, when Bernard King scored, it was all mid-range. Like, this dude is lighting you up. If he shoot 25 times, he gonna damn near make every other shot. I mean, he going to come out that sucker with 50. Remember, he had back-to-back days with 50, 60. I think he had back-to-back days with 50. Scored 50 one night, came back the next night, scored 50 again. Mid-range. But Barkley, Adrian Dantley had that game. Nobody could stop him, like literally. And Barkley was the same way. Could literally back anyone down. It was too strong, once you got in the hoop. Where they stopped it, you couldn't do it anymore. The Warriors took it personal that LeBron was not a flopping team. Can't wait to see how both teams will answer. Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Lorenzo, what's happening?
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
I know you controlling your bitches, Lorenzo. What's happening? I know you controlling them. No disrespect. So we'll see. We'll see what they're setting up tomorrow. LeBron is still the greatest marketing thing for the NBA. Uh, and what's interesting is his commercials. He's really been, other than that. Yeah, not really many commercials. So that's interesting about LeBron. It shows a little more business. Where Curry, a lot of his older commercials just floating around. So it's interesting how you look at that and you think, okay, this is more business. So, I don't know. Would I be surprised that their thing goes 7 games? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, AD is Mr. Glass, so ain't no need to guard him. He'll break himself. Yeah. Definitely. That's why they was all clowning him. Everybody clowned him. I mean, Barkley was laughing at him. Shaq was laughing at him. And they was showing is like, that disrespect. They are telling you by their disrespect. And Stephen A. Smith, they made him retweet or whatever. But he said originally what everybody else said. He's soft. And then when Devin Ham says he'll definitely play, they already know he didn't have a concussion. But for him to just give up, because again, we've all been hit in the head, in the nose. I mean, like think about it. Somebody passed the ball to you and hit you in your face, it stun you for a minute, but you go back down court if it was a turnover. You don't just get there, I'm glad something broke again, guys. I can't go from the bench and walk 10 feet to the locker room. Come on now. That's all theatrics. So we know. Charles Barkley and Shaq didn't like each other. I don't know. They appear to like each other now. Memphis series. I gives the Laker LeBron hating those false sense of hope and AD over points. It gives the LeBron's. Okay, I got you. Memphis series. They won 2 out of 5. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Conley, thank you for
Got to have
joining.
vision.
Word, same thing. Only winning 2 and 5. That's a good point. That is a good point. Well, thank you for joining me.
Got to have vision.
But it was poor product today. I mean, the fans deserve more. Just to spend our time, we want to be entertained, not bored by your product. That's all. We don't want to be bored by your product, and that's what it was tonight. And made other people want to watch the other sports, hockey, baseball, local baseball, because your product wasn't that good. Phoenix fans who are very loud was booing them. The second quarter they started booing them because they saw the lack of effort, the lack of quit. I mean, really, they was a better team when CP3 went out. They was a better team. He's too slow. He can't guard nobody. They were a better team with him not playing. And, again, they didn't play. And Aiden didn't play. Okay. Holding him out for what? I like the children cheering intro. Oh, okay. Sixers only 86 points. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. It was just the effort. But yeah, we're gonna look at that 2 and 5. That's pretty good, Conley. That's pretty good. What is Katie's legacy? It's like the injury. You can tell the injury took a lot out of what he had. He's turned himself into what others have, a journeyman. I mean, you're 415. That's looked at as a journeyman. So I don't know. It's like he never seems satisfied. He thinks like the next, and his character, the way they put his character is like the next big great thing is something guaranteed. I mean, he put his best friend in him, and then they even got Harding to come, and then they had Simmons, and well, maybe not Simmons, but it's like it didn't work. The effort again when he went to, if I would have been owning Brooklyn, I would have never signed Durant. He was hurt when he came to me. I would have definitely never signed Irving. He been damaged goods, and just the business that Irving the way he did with Cleveland. Talking about forced, trade me. Again, a cat that's not satisfied. Now he had the great season. They lost the great season to LeBron. He had the seasons that he won with Golden State. So great player, yeah. All time great. I mean, somewhere in there, I would guess. Like we'd have to look, because where is he at with points? Because compared to where Dirk, I mean, very similar player to Dirk, really. And and really Dirk never really played on a great team. Like that team, I mean, really the team the Heat had was a great team that Dirk played on. I think Jerry Stackhouse was on that team. That was a good team, but the team that won the championship with the Jet or that other whatever his name was, that guard, that was a sucky team. That was like a terrible team. That's why they didn't even make the playoffs the next year. There's no way they could fake it again. Kyrie acting like a kid when he left Cleveland. Yeah, well, I mean, Walker gonna go off in game 4. Man, I don't know. Lakers win games 1, 3, 4, 6 in round 2. Oh, okay. And that's all they take. That's all they'll need, Conley. That will win it all for him. Do you think we're gonna walk? Do you think Walker? I don't know. I doubt it. I think he had his one day in the sun. A lot of times they don't highlight people 2 times in a row, so we'll see. Hey, CWE. Welcome. You was right. CP3 not winning the ring. Wasn't going to let Suns win. Yeah, Jason Terry, thank you. Yes, Jason the Jet Terry. He took Kenny the Jet Smith's name. Yes, Jason Terry. Jason Terry was terrible. He was terrible. He was average. There's no way. Like, shots he hit and he could have never hit without basket manipulation. You can look back at those games. Jason Terry, and this is how much he sucked. They was basket manipulating Jason Terry's mid-range shots, and definitely when Terry made threes, they was 1,000% manipulated. But they was manipulating his mid-range shots. Go back and look at the film. Who came up with Hack-a-Shaq? It would have been when Chris Webber, the coach. The coach in Sacramento, the coach Weber and them, and Mike Bibby, that coach. That coach, I think, was the coach that came up with it. The coach that was in Sacramento, I think. But it made sense. Like people forget that Jim Valvano was the one that came up with foul people and put them on the line and put pressure on them. And that was a scenario. But no one had done that before. No one had used the foul as a weapon to catch back up. And that's what Jim Valvano did. So it was kind of a part of that, put a bad free throw shooter on the line, and we'll catch up because he can't make free throws. So he's only gonna make one or none. So that's why they came up with it. So, and that's why they started penalizing it because it was. I mean, people understood it. You would rather. Instead of having an and one, you'd rather foul him out in the court, when there's no chance of an and one. And so he wasn't putting in the work on shooting. And if you don't put the work in on the shooting, and even if you do, they can manipulate him in and out. So sometimes that doesn't even pay off. What time is it? Okay, good. Terry was Dylan Brooks today, but had no game or skill set. Yeah, Popovich. Sure, no, I thought it was the guy in Sacramento. Because I thought it was them in Sacramento, but it could have been Popovich. I really don't remember. That's a good try, but Judah, that's a very very good comparison. That's a very good comparison. LeBron winning this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I really wouldn't. The scoring champ and all that. That's a great story. That's a great story that would cement him being great. for him to get 5 titles would put him with Magic. And so the argument, it would be hard because again, the argument with him would be if they gave him 5 titles, that would make him equal to Magic, but he went to more championships than Magic did, and he went more championships than Jordan did. So, and that counts. You know, they want to say it doesn't count. That counts. I mean, Jerry West went to what, 6, 7 championships and won 1. So he was good, consistently good in the scripted basketball. Consistently good, but again, they was gonna make him come up short. Yeah, I gotta look this footage up just to bring a point up of something I show how long it's existed. But I had a lot to do today. Didn't get to play pickleball. And I'll tell you what I noticed with my own body. I've got used to getting up and stretching. I got up and didn't stretch because we had a couple things to do. And it made a big, I mean, I was felt stiff all day. So didn't have time to play pickleball. It's funny. My son was supposed to come over, but he really just wanted to get his clothes washed. So, but you know, I understand. That's okay. That's what you got parents for. So when I get done with this, I'm gonna start washing the nigga clothes. He's got a lot of whites too, and I got some white stuff that needs to be washed. So I'm kind of cool with that. So gonna do that too for him, because you want your children to, you know, not be funky. For one, not be funky, and take care of your clothes. You know, there's some things that you do gotta wash. Certain things, if you don't sweat, you just fold them back up. Bring them back up. So it's learning all that kind of stuff too. KD should retire. That's funny. LeBron is the Christ figure of Revelation. Philadelphia's the church in Revelation. That's a good point. He probably got his rings already. Well, you know, Magic sitting at the table. You know, Magic getting the ring. In the commercial, if you really look at how they did it, they highlight Magic getting another ring. That's kind of what they do. They show Larry Bird's 3, which, you know, could almost be the 23, like a lock for 23 that Boston is locked out, showing Larry Bird's 3, but Magic's ring, you know, being the most pronounced in the commercial. You notice his ring. I mean, it's almost like, so that might be a tell too. That commercial where they're doing the rings. That the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, they're kind of. That's kind of slanted towards the Lakers. That's what I thought. And when I saw it today again, and I was like, I saw where Larry Bird's part, it was subservient. It was subservient. Now even Steph's part still to me seemed subservient to Magic, because again they highlight Magic twice in the commercial. So we'll see. We'll see. That's just kind of the vibe I got off of it. LeBron is the art antichrist wearing number 6. That could be. What's scary, LeBron's playing like he has another 3 or 4 years left. Man, I didn't really slow down until I mean, really physically, I didn't really slow down until 45, 46. When I moved here, you know, it was a lot of stress moving here, but that first year I lived here, I was still hooping. So I was 44. And so really till that next year, because I didn't tear my Achilles, but I had quit hooping for a couple years. Just, you know, the opportunity wasn't there as much, and, you know, just had to do family stuff. But from, you know, my 30s was some of my greatest hooping. 30 to 40, definitely. I was still, like I've said, one of the last serious semi-pro leagues I played in, man, I averaged like 28, and I was 35 or 36. Now I average, trying to think. Yeah, it was around 28. I averaged like 28. I had a couple games of 30-something. I like led the league in scoring for our division. Where are we going? Larry Bird Larry Bird, as I said, Larry Bird was great. Just the whole way he was raised, his brothers was raised. I was listening to somebody. They were saying that God, who was it from Indiana that hooped on Larry Bird's brother, and so Larry Bird went after him but Larry Bird, the way he was raised, the way Indiana dudes was raised, he is the perfect example of like you saying the Jesus figure being born, father sacrificed very young, World War II vet, father feeling that the family's worth more, and being raised in the basketball kingdom of America when he was raised, and being exposed to the vast amount of different ball players. I mean, people don't understand the reason why Larry Bird talks shit. He played against a lot of brothers in Indiana. I mean, his brothers was playing against brothers. So then that's how he grew up playing. He grew up playing, with brothers that talk cash. You get be in the gyms with him talking cash shit to him. So it was nothing. He got that at a young age. Now skill level, you almost look at like Twins was made, but they wasn't made at the right same year. They wasn't born. Oh, let me take that back. It was almost like it was a pair of twins made, but they wasn't born in the same year, because a lot of ways Magic and Bird are a lot of ways the same player. As I was saying, you looked at the German dude and Grant and Bell when they was making the telephone. Both of them learned how to do it. One beat the other by about an hour of proving his phone could work. So if you look at these same dudes, Magic is a little taller, but Larry Bird is almost 6'9" too. So they're both big guys. They both handle the ball extremely well. Larry Bird was a natural better outside shooter. More mid-range, still mid-range, but a better outside shooter. Magic was a better felicitator, better passer, better ball handler. But in a lot of ways, the same player. And raised around the same great players too. I mean, the games of Magic Johnson playing one-on-one with Terry Furlow. I mean, Furlow by that point was playing with Cleveland, took Magic under his arm. Furlow's in the NBA, and Furlow's at Michigan State. So Magic played against these tough dudes too. So I only mention that to say that, yes, he was one of, sadly, because he went in the NBA so late in life, we didn't get to see a long Larry Bird. We got to see about 5 years. Somebody did a great breakdown, and we see about 5 years of good peak Larry Bird. The 3 championship years, and the 2 years he lost to the Lakers. And maybe you can throw another loss to the Lakers in there but it was like 5 years. But during those 5 years, like I have no problem with the 2 years in a row he won the MVP. He dominated. He did dominate. And again, he dominated in some of the same ways where he tried to make his other players better, like Magic. He had that in him. Make everybody better, pass the ball. And again, Larry's big enough to guard a 3 or a 4. He was bigger than the 3s, so, he could match up with 4s. So yeah, he was. So that's the only thing is it wasn't long. Again, he hurt his back doing some construction work, which took away. But for 5 years, yeah, he did his thing for 5 years. Definitely was worth watching. Let's see here. KD loses it, still losing to LeBron. That's a good point. Ankles finished. He definitely lost a step. Yeah, he's older though too. Tribal Judah. He's older. He's definitely older. And it takes coming back from those kind of injuries. Suns got eliminated in their 300 postseason game. Record is a perfect 160 and 160. Wow, 16 and 16 in a 30-second. Wow, good work. Very good work. Lakers going to the finals. I wouldn't surprise me. The hick from French Lick, yeah, I was thinking that the whole time I was telling the story. Bird and Magic definitely are both under the same MK programming. You know what? I would say, yeah, yeah. I don't know about Bird. I say Bird. You know what? It was like they went to his daddy and probably showed his daddy the future and said, look, you take yourself out, this is what could happen to Larry. And the daddy might have been depressed too, you know, World War II vet, probably had some of that, you know, and then seeming like a failure. And daddy was like, all right, that looked good to me. I'll make that trade. So that you know, that's how it could be. It could be, you know, because again, you know, you looking at the veterans, you know, so the government's already tracking the family. So, and a veteran that committed suicide. So, yeah, very well could be. Um, and Magic, you know, like I don't think Larry Bird, you know, did the sex magic, but that's why they sent Magic to L.A., you know, because they knew he would be with the sex magic. You know, they knew he would be Magic would be with the sex magic. That's why they knew he was perfect candidate for the, you know, the AIDS thing. So yeah, Lakers, Sixers winning it all. Lakers, Celtics, or Sixers winning it all. I've said the Lakers. I'm still gonna stick. John Stockton deserves more credit. I don't know. I don't know. Because really, was Stockton and Malone really great? Could they have done what they did anywhere else without each other? Remember, Karl Malone. Okay, remember when they changed the rules? When they changed the rules and took away the hand check. Now, Magic makes the joke at when they're taking the pictures for the Dream Team about not touching Mike, it might be a foul, you know, which hurt Mike. If you look at that footage, it hurt Mike. Might have to pull it up, but it hurt Mike. But let's not forget, Karl Malone. I bet if we looked at the percentage of free throws, points he got off free throws, he got, I bet, half his points off free throws. The one thing that was Karl Malone was like Jordan is that he got his points. He was gonna get 10 points off free throws. Remember the James Harden, you know, and Karl Malone was better because Karl Malone was a bigger Barkley. You know, he could run the floor, but he got a lot of fouls called for it. I mean, look at any of those games leading up to see how often he was on the foul line. And now, like, yeah, why they chose Stockton is hard because it's like there's nothing that stood out about him. Anybody could have been any guy his size put in the situation he was put in could have done the same thing. But it appeared like he was tough, you know, a little dirty and would like to fight, elbow you, go through your pick. I mean, definitely that. Attempt to play D. I mean, he was all that. Entertaining to watch as hell, you know, didn't back down. It would be nice to see if he could have played in the Dream Team. Because that's the other sad part. People don't remember Stockton was hurt. They let Stockton take the Dream Team pictures, and he was hurt. Like it's the old Dream Team footage was like people don't even know I'm on the Dream Team. Well, you wasn't because you was hurt. So I don't think that he was he wasn't bad, but I think they benefited from the league. The league favored, you know, them in the West. The league favored them. There's no doubt that the West was favored after Barkley. You know, the West was favored. So, you know, after Barkley, after Hakeem's run, because they never matched up Jordan against you notice they never did that? They never matched up Jordan against the Houston. They couldn't wait to match up Larry Bird against Houston, but they didn't want to match. They never matched up Magic against or Michael Jordan against Hakeem. You know, they made Charles Barkley make it. Hey, Miss Bishop, thank you for joining. Let me see. Yeah, he didn't have AIDS. Exactly. It looks like a reported 2020 season, the bubble Heat versus Lakers. Ooh, will they let the Heat go? They might. They just might. I see the 76ers winning the series against the Celtics. The combined record between this season and playoffs is 6-4. If the Sixers win 6-5, Philadelphia has a gematria of 65. That's good work. Oh yeah, PJ Allen. He definitely lived at the free throw line. I mean, there's no way you can get over that. But yeah, Bishop Mac Bones, I know you got to.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
And I know you control yours. But yeah, so that's my only knock on them as them. Him having the assist record. You know, the refs helped with a lot of that. Well, that was a big part of the script for the West, was them two. And he was entertaining to watch. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in the 90s, in the 94, 95, 96, the team I saw here the most was Utah. So I got to see him live, and it was, you know, he played hard. But it was just, that was the agenda. JR used to give him that business. He used to give him that business. And then when they brought in Garnett, man, Garnett in that season, Garnett and JR played together. Garnett one time they was like about Jordan, and they was like, man, I play against a dude who go at him like Jordan every day. And he was talking about JR. He was entertaining to watch for his size. You know, not a very big cat, but definitely could jump. Strong. I'll tell you, I thought Tim Reed was better than JR. If Tim Reed would have had the opportunities that JR had, Tim Reed would have been successfuler, I think. But again, the cards ain't there for everybody, you know. He got to live his journey and did his thing, you know, for his size. Not a very big cat, but did his thing. Tony Parker. I don't care for Tony Parker. Like you talking about MK Ultra, you know, daddy's a pro basketball player, you know, from America. What's the odds? You know, just the chances. So you talking about MK Ultra set up. Tony Parker is obviously that. Tony Parker is playing pro basketball with men when he's 13, like Luka did. You know, he started playing in the men's league, you know, the upper men's league, the bigger high school leagues, what Luka did. You know, 12, 13 years old. Could not make the modern game because he couldn't shoot. I mean, you know, you know me talking about Barkley backing everybody up and Adrian Dantley. That was Tony Parker, quick you to the rim. That's all he had. Didn't really even have a mid-range game. Everything was quick around the rim. Now, I'll say the thing to study, if you're a little dude, if you're a smaller dude and you want to see how to operate around the rim, watch Tony Parker. Two dudes, Tony Parker and watch Norm Nixon. Norm Nixon is excellent off that high bank. He'll show you that spot and how to drop it right there. And every time, if you practice that over and over again, it'll do that. But Tony Parker's one where you really just, like I was saying last week with Vinny DiVincenzo, he did a teardrop over a 7-footer. And you just know the spots. You practice it enough, you just know the spots. And Tony Parker was good in that. I'll say any small guard, learn that. If you want to look at how to, you know, if you inside score, learn that, how to shoot up high over people. And you know, because it's like you see the hoop and you just know the space there. I mean, it's really interesting because you just know the space where if you put it in this space, it'll drop in. It's the same, you know. It's just you putting more high on it because you're playing against better athletes. So you've got to, you know, that's what, that's what happens to people that don't get used to playing against shot blockers. They get lazy and they don't practice that kind of thing. Like, you know, like any young person, if you know a young person, just get them, even if you're against people you're just as big at, practice really shooting up high. even against people you're smaller than, just so you start getting that touch. You know, throw it a little high up there, just so you know. Practice that sometimes. Majority of Parker points was in the paint. Exactly. So, you know, he was made. He was probably MK Ultra. But he was like another guy, and I'll say this too. From them, this is what I noticed too, and even Luca seeing it. But Tony Parker and Ginobili are two people that, and I'll really say Tony Parker too, where the guys started getting really old quickly. Think about them. Tony Parker at 23 has almost damn played 10 years of pro basketball. So at 27, you see he's 13, 14 years in against playing, you know, and you saw his body start to break down. And not, you know, and then his type of play didn't last. I mean, very, very similar. I'll tell you who Parker was very similar to was Nate Archibald too. But didn't pass. Nowhere near the passer of Nate Archibald. Felicitator. But this quickness of scoring and scoring to the basket definitely had the same thing. Yes, have people studying Nate Archibald, how he would go by people. I mean, like in 1980, when Larry Bird won his first title, Nate Archibald was on the team. Look at Nate Archibald that year. Pistol Pete should have stayed. He had a half season. He should have played. He'd have won him a championship. So they brought Nate Archibald in, and Nate was great. Watch those games. Nate was great. Like they showed a little bit of the Boston Strangler the other night with Andrew Toney. Andrew Toney used to light that Celtics team up. You want to see who used to put boot to ass against the Celtics? Watch Andrew Toney. They called him the Boston Strangler. Them years that Boston got knocked out by Philly with Dr. J and them, it was Andrew Toney. Andrew Toney put that work in on them. Boston had no answer. It was like that was the first player they didn't have an answer for. It wasn't Jordan. It was Toney. They did not have an answer. When Toney had a decent team behind him, he put foot to ass. He put that work in on them. On Boston especially. That's why they called him the Boston Strangler. And he was the guy that would put his back to you, couple dribbles to fall off, couple dribbles separation, but catch it. He would have been good in like the triangle because he kind of liked catching it right there on that soft elbow. And he was bigger than most guards because I think he was like 6'4"-ish, but a strong guy. But I mean, just kill you, mid-range killer. Mid-range killer. Like one of the big mid-range killer shooters. Like big shots, mid-range, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it. It was like he killing Danny Ainge. Killing him. And he wasn't killing him like Michael Jordan, you know, hanging in the air. That mug mid-range killing him. They trying to double team him. He's getting by and he separates. Nothing they could do. Watch his game. Andrew Toney was nice. Most Popovich coaches under him that have been coaches all in coached MK. Well, yeah, because he was Ginobili was bad. I didn't really like Ginobili. Not really, Chief. Didn't really like him. Yeah, I didn't really like him. Didn't really like him, but yeah, that's what Popovich, you know, he was Army intelligence. Everybody knows Popovich was Army intelligence, so that's what it took. You know, it took Army intelligence guy. It took a guy from Army intelligence to get these MK assets and to, you know, push the Southern, you know, push the European players because that's what's pushed. You know, it was an agenda. It was, you know, and what you have to, like watching the game tonight and watching some of Joker's moves. Do you understand what happens to players when you get to play against the best? Joker's a prime example. I'm not saying the guy's not talented. Because what happens is when you do this show, like I just mentioned with Isaiah Thomas playing against Magic and them all summer. When you play against the highest competition, you get better. If you're good, you get better. And you see where he's great footwork, nice jump step, half hook, floater hook, smart plays, being able to face up. And he threw the little alley oop. Those are great plays, great eyes. So I'm not hating on that talent and that type of basketball entertainment because that's great. That does show unselfishness. Even the last game, he balled and they lost. So I understand how you get better by playing against better players. So it's not like I say these Europeans come here and I just put my head in the sand like I don't care how they play, they're just not good. No, it's not like that. They're going to get better because they're playing against better. And what I think they said 7 years he's been in, so 7 years worth of playing against the highest talent and hanging in there. Now saying some of the things is not inflated, that he doesn't have manipulations, plays in scripted games. Absolutely. But again, as I say, in wrestling, you got to be able to take the falls. You got to make some of them shots, that they can't manipulate it. Well, they can manipulate them all. You didn't know Danny Ainge was Danny Ainge was like played in spring training. Danny Ainge got drafted, I think, by San Diego. Did not want to go there, so Danny Ainge played baseball. I think it was San Diego drafting him first, and he wasn't going. So he was playing. He was literally playing. I want to say he was playing in. I think part of his deal signing his contract, like when he got. How did they do it? I'm trying to think how they did it. When his rights got traded to Boston, I think part of the deal was he got to finish out playing baseball. So he went to the league. He went to camp late, I think, because he finished out playing. Because I think he was playing AAA. But yeah, he was a great athlete. He was a great athlete. It was a great game. If you want to see, great college game, watch Danny Ainge when he played in BYU and they beat Orlando Woolridge and Kelly Tripucka in the NCAA tournament. How he takes him, he goes 90 feet and hoops on him and knocks him out the tournament. T-Mac. T-Mac was my dude. Yeah, interesting guy. Basketball player, not really an athlete. Yeah. Tim Thomas comes in. There's a lot of cats like him that were great basketball players and not great athletes. And because it does not look like he ever tried to develop his body, he kind of broke down pretty quick. And remember, he did go in the NBA at 18, 19. And so, some of these guys that started so young in the NBA suffered what I was saying about the foreigners. It's harder. Instead of, 30 games for when you're that young, you playing 80 plus games. So it's a lot more wear and tear on your body. So we see that kind of happen to him. But his run was interesting. Remember, he was up with the Pistons. He was up, they was up 3-0 and he said it was over and they lost 4 straight games to the Pistons. Remember how they embarrassed him like that? They did that game where he scored those quick points. I mean, you see how fabricated that was. Reggie Miller did something similar. So they let him have flashes. They let him have flashes and he was, good. Just wasn't. And when I say he wasn't athletic, doesn't mean he didn't have basketball talent. But I think if he would have strengthened his body, he would have benefited from that. I think Vince Carter being kind of a good athlete too. And because that's what Vince Carter had. He had athleticism. Really wasn't, he didn't have the same skill set like T-Mac later had, but Vince Carter, for his skill set, his athleticism, really helped him. and it helped him have a much longer career. So, because of his athleticism. And he learned that, as the athleticism erodes, you develop other parts of your game. And he was strong enough for his body to endure, even though he was shorter. So that's where T-Mac, just being a basketball player, hurt him. Doesn't look like he ever tried to develop the athleticism that it takes to get your body bigger, get your body stronger. And the script was never meant for many of these high school bound guys to really flourish. They were trying to discourage it in some ways. So Kobe was one of the few that it really flourished, the high school guy that they backed, because they liked the Jordan energy. They liked the Jordan, what is the word? Stencil. That's one of the words. The stencil really goes back to even Elgin Baylor. They like the 6'6" guy. Like, look over history. The league likes the 6'6" guy. And that really starts with Elgin Baylor in the NBA. They like that type of prototype guy. Now, and that's why I think they didn't like Connie Hawkins, because he had that same prototype, but he was 6'8". Could handle the ball, and would have changed the game in the early 60s just because of his sure ability. And so they didn't really want that. They wanted the 6'6" guys. And so you see Elgin Baylor, Michael Jordan. No, you see Elgin Baylor, Dr. J, then you see Jordan. So, well, you could even say Dr. J, David Thompson, Michael Jordan. Because you have to look at, like, what David Thompson had was definitely given to Jordan. I mean, if you look at, again, the greatest leaper of all time is Meningold. Now, where's Meningold born? And where was Michael Jordan born? And then David Thompson lived in North Carolina. And where did Michael Jordan live? But Michael Jordan is definitely into, like, if you look at, like, prototypes, he's a bigger prototype of David Thompson, but the same size as Dr. J. And so remember, Dr. J held the league up for a few years by himself. The league went to 4 teams, 5 teams last couple years. I think the last couple years is like 5 teams maybe. And they had to play like 80 games between 5 or 6 teams. And it was because of Dr. J. So we see the natural progression. I mean, we look at other sports. We can look at Jim Brown, Gale Sayers, Walter Payton. I mean, we can look at how they use the energy of making the same people. And it's amazing, like, they teach this game, they develop dudes, and they have dudes that have the skill set to do it better than anybody else. In some ways, they derail their career. It's like Jeff George was probably the perfect pocket passer, the perfect technique, but yet they never picked a guy like him. It's like they made his career terrible. And it's just interesting. Like, you take a guy like Brady that never really had truly the perfect what you wanted. Not until they created it. Because again, remember, the reality where Brady fumbles and they call it a fumble, because the me will do it. It's 2 realities, it's split. Because they had to put another reality where, and his career was gone. It's a reality where when that's called a fumble, there's nothing special about that guy. Just because the way that they fixed it in front of everybody reverbed. They had to change reality a little bit to fix it like that, to fix it right in front of your face. So he was never the perfect thing on what they say. And of course, they create the game around him and script it around him because, again, they're looking at what Michael Jordan just did. They say, hey, we can do that too. People love dynasties. It's been shown over and over again. A dynasty saved the NBA. Two dynasties saved the NBA, the Lakers and the Celtics. Can't be disputed. Those two dynasties saved the NBA. That's why, what is it, 8 years in a row? 10 out of 12? What was it, 8 years in a row they won? 6 or 8 years straight, the Celtics won in the 60s, late 50s, early 60s. What did they win it from 59? Yeah, because I think you guys corrected me. The Hawks won it in 58, so they won it from 59 to 66, something like that. Yeah, till Wilt's season was 66, 67. They won it up until then. 59 to that 66, 67 team. And that saved the NBA. The Lakers winning it, and the Lakers having the championships against the Globetrotters. That saved the NBA. So that's been from very beginning. That's been, that's been their way to fix it. That's been their way to fix it. So that's all. And that's how they make it marketable. Deion, the best athlete of all time. I don't know. I would just say, is Deion really better than Jim Thorpe? Now, is Deion better than Jim Thorpe? Jim Thorpe won a World Series, but wasn't a great baseball player by any imagination. But on the other hand, Jim Thorpe was a world-class Olympic athlete and an All-American football player and an All-Pro football player. So, and remember when the NFL came around, Jim was older. Remember, he won the 2012 Olympics. So by the time the NFL starts, he's been playing in these smaller leagues. He's older. So again, we don't really know how good of pro football player Jim Thorpe was. Because Jim Thorpe was probably in his 30s when the NFL started. That's why actually he was the first commissioner when they started. And it's like, hey, Jim, probably help playing the games. So I would say, what trumps what? We got two Pro Football Hall of Famers. True Pro Football, and Jim Thorpe won, I think he won a football championship too with Canton. Yeah, Jim Thorpe won a championship with the Canton Bulldogs, I think. I'd have to get this book out behind me, the 50 years. There we go. So we'd have to look at that. But, so, I mean, how do you, what do you, because to me, that would be the greatest comparison was Jim Thorpe to Deion. Now, are we saying athlete of the, modern day? Would we put Deion over that? I don't know. I don't know if Deion would be over that because Deion just played football and baseball. He didn't do track. I think he said he did track in high school, but I don't think he did track in college, and he didn't do track in the Olympics. So I don't know. Kind of, sort of. Stephen Marbury. I'll say this, Nico, I will say this about Marbury. I got to watch him a lot too, and I don't know. There was like everything he had here. They gave Garnett all the bread. He was put in a good situation here. And I just don't think he knew how good he had it here. And he was pocket watching Garnett, and he felt he should have got that Garnett bread. Nobody in the league thought he should have. And they proved right. I mean, he got a little bread, but he got pushed around the league. They drafted him. Where they drafted him here, he fit in. And I don't think he knew how good he had it here. And I think his ego got in the way. And again, I'll say this. His NBA career was sacrificed so he would open the door for Chinese basketball. Because let's keep in mind who Stephen Marbury is. He has a red card. Now, it doesn't mean he's a communist, but it means he is a full citizen of China. Do not forget that. He has a Chinese red card. That's how much they love him there. But he was the one that had to sacrifice his NBA career to open up because that became the top league. You know, before COVID, that was the top league, and it's turned back into the top league. It took it away from Europe. One time it was Israel, England at one time, but they took that to Europe, the top league. So that's, you know, his legacy. His legacy is world basketball. But he opened up Chinese basketball. So I think, you know, that's his greatest legacy, and you can't take that away from him. You know, and I'll say this in his defense: it was hard. It's hard carrying, you know, everything he had to carry into the league. I was telling the story about Jimmy Pearsall. You know, it's hard when you have all these expectations, and you're immature. You're immature, and you have a lot of money. So you make decisions that, from the outside looking in, it looked like you was in a good situation. And you really never had it better. Really never had it better. So that's the sad thing. And that's what I liked about Garnett. Garnett saw what he had here. Now, what was disappointing about Garnett is they did not back him here. There was no, like, he was Adidas, and there was no big Garnett push like it should have been. Like it, like now, and to say in the fairness, like now the Mall of America, the front of it is big old posters and shit. That wasn't there, but there was never, like, to me, there should have been a great campaign at the Mall of America with a big old poster, Garnett and Adidas. I didn't see that, and so I thought they let him down in that regard. That they should have had a little more foresight to do. Adidas should have saw what Grant Hill did, in Detroit, and what Jordan did in Chicago. Because remember, this stuff started in these other places first. Again, I don't know anywhere else that Fila really blew up the way it blew up in Michigan when Grant Hill played. And just like rightly so, you know, the clothes in Chicago. That's really where it exploded. You know, Nike Town. So the Chicago, and not even gangs, it was just the people in Chicago really was the first where they was just all Nike. And I would say that spread to the rest of the country. And I say that, you know, that's just from my perspective, that's what I saw. That's how it spread. It was like that was a Midwestern style to just be like all one gear. You dig? And then, you know, everybody had the shoes. Whatever kind of Nikes, you know, whatever gear you wore. But it was, you know, the point is Nike and Fila. I thought they should have given Garnett a bigger coverage. And they tried, like Converse tried to give a big push after the dunk contest with JR. Because he was still hooping good. He was still hooping really good. People forget that. When JR won the dunk contest, he was still a really good hooper. So, what would you take? Popovich or Phil Jackson? I think I liked Phil Jackson, but both of them was definitely controlled. You can see Phil Jackson, you know, he openly admits, you know, taking acid and stuff, which means, you know, again, probably MK Ultra athlete. You know, Bill Bradley was another one. You know, Bill Bradley was a Rhodes Scholar. Remember, he played for the Knicks too. So, you know, you look at the circles he's with and who he's playing and the kind of thing, you know, that hippie movement, but that athlete hippie movement, if you understand, trying to, you know, dip in both worlds. So, and Popovich, you know, he was definitely military intelligence. So, but obviously used to handling athletes. Penny Hardaway. You know, he was lucky because that was the move that they let Shaq make. Oh, let me off. I always forget to give out the Jaguar transformational energy. Sorry guys. May you always have that. But let me see. Okay, but Penny Hardaway, like it didn't make sense that Orlando didn't get Chris Webber. That never made sense. Penny Hardaway was nowhere near good as Chris Webber. And what do they later do? What do? They get Horace Grant, and when they would have had Chris Webber. They did not need Penny. They should have kept Chris Webber and let Chris Webber and Shaq play together. And then what would Penny's role been if Penny didn't get to play with Shaq? What would his role been? And again, Penny was a basketball player, not a great athlete. Okay. Not a great athlete, but a great basketball player. And that's the same argument I have with T-Mac. You know, basketball players seem to wear down quicker than athletes. Because if you don't have, you like what happens with athletes when athleticism kind of slows down, they develop the other skills. Like Magic, by the end of his career, he had a set shot. So it looked like it was a set shot, but he would consistently shoot, consistently hit the set shot. So that's my only thing. Between Isaiah and Iverson, who do you think had the better ball mechanics? Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah. I watched them both play. Iverson, I remember what my cousin said. I watched my cousin when they played at DePaul. I watched them play Georgetown. And I remember talking to my cousin after the game. It was like he was probably the fastest person that could run and dribble at the same time. Like of everybody I've ever watched, Iverson was probably the fastest person that could dribble a ball. But like, remember when Tim Darter, his book, they talk about Iverson carrying. He carried all the time. Iverson had that. It was a dude a couple years older than me, St. Louis, and they had that. I can kind of. It was like they had this kind of handle. They always the ball would be under, and Iverson did that a lot. He reminded me of my guy. We called him St. Louis. St. Louis was always under the ball. It was just his natural rhythm was always under, so he was always carrying. Iverson did that too. It's like he always would. Even like the hesitation where it's like he liked being under the ball. Do you understand what I'm really saying? It's Cat's natural rhythm where they be under the ball. And Iverson was that kind of dribbler. He would be under the ball. That's why when he would hit you with that hesitation, he's under the ball on that hesitation when he's going to get by you. You understand? Isaiah is what a natural point guard should always be. Just straight at you all the time. I ain't never turning my back. I'm throwing it between my legs. I'm going behind my back or I'm crossing you. I'm straight facing everybody, facing you. I mean, look at that little short where he takes it to the middle and he dribbles back out and then he hits the short little pop. So better ball mechanics, yeah, Isaiah. Now, again, we talking about a little bit two different things. We got one person that's probably the fastest person to ever dribble a basketball compared to a person that always faced everybody. So yeah, I thought he had better mechanics, definitely better mechanics. But like he comes, look who came after Isaiah though. Like Chicago Cats started really like a lot of the cats, and that's what was interesting. Like when I would go to Chicago in the late 70s, would play with the college, my cousin, the college guys, but I would just see the style. And you could see Isaiah's influence starting to hit a lot of people. Now, Michigan Magic had bigger cats passing. Magic had everybody wanting to lead the break and then, break somebody off. Magic had everybody like that. Everybody adapted their part of the game in Michigan. I mean, that's just the way it was. I got my first, well, not my first dunk, but kind of like that. Probably, yeah, I guess my first dunk in high school, dude hit me half court, and that was all it took. 2-3 dribbles, I dunked that mug. So everybody had that game. So whereas everybody in Michigan wanted to break, lead everybody to break, everybody in Chicago wanted to dribble by you, dribble, dribble, dribble. What was it? Will Harding? Will was a cat. If you looked at that high school, them dudes that knew they Will, I think that was his name. Will Harding later played for the Pistons, later played at Arizona, I think. Maybe you got, but his name was Will, that cat. Now he had what Isaiah had on top of the ball. So I thought I would say Isaiah was a better ball handler. Pure guard, pure guard more than Iverson. But Iverson was faster. So, are we really comparing the same thing? Iverson was way faster. But Isaiah's faster was going at you and not necessarily running by you. So I don't know. Maybe we comparing two different cats. I don't know. So yeah, I get that. Look up the first commissioner. The first commissioner of the NFL was Jim Thorpe. I don't think it's behind me. The first 50 years, I bust that out. But yeah, they made in a car dealership. Like if you think about the Bears, and you think about it's not even the Hallis family, but it's the McCaffreys. Now the McCaffreys, because a stepdaughter or an in-law married and was related to Hal. So now the McCaffrey families. It cost them $100 in 1926 to start that business. Now back then that was probably equivalent to a few thousand. But the Giants, Redskins was a couple different teams, but the Bears, Giants, trying to think the original teams, the Chicago Cardinals, all those it cost them $100 to get into the NFL. Because really, if you look into the AFL, it was by then it was hundreds of thousands, it was thousands to buy. And I think it was between 10 and 100,000 to buy in the franchise of the AFL. I don't quite remember. I'd have to look it up. But yeah. So how long have I been? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Penny was dope. Stoudemire, yeah. Now Stoudemire was what was interesting was it hurt him. Kwame Brown was hurt by not going to college. Stoudemire was hurt by not going to college too. Because the cats just didn't really develop a game. Like even Shaq at one point had to start developing other shots. You wasn't gonna be able to dunk forever over everybody. So he had to develop other shots. And I just thought that like footwork, I don't know, those cats would have really benefited. And I think, even Kwame Brown is probably a type of psyop to tell people don't do it. We're gonna make his life hard enough on purpose so, he can't be great. Because we'd be wrong. Everything college is wrong. You dig, All that is wrong. So we need to see this be wrong. If you can, get that point. So I don't know. Stoudemire, I liked him. And yeah, when he was a guy, once he got hurt, he wasn't the same. When he went to New York, he wasn't the same. Once he got hurt, he like he said, after he got hurt, people didn't fear him. But for a couple of years, he had a nice little run. He did. Yep, I agree. Penny was still dope. No, he was. Penny was great. Yeah, Grant Hill. Grant Hill really would have, like all that Kobe got, Grant Hill would have got it if he wouldn't have got hurt too. He was already getting it. Grant Hill was probably more popular than Kobe at the time he got hurt. I would dare say, other than Kobe playing on better teams. But Grant Hill was there. And they definitely thought that Grant Hill was be the successor to Jordan. And they was looking forward to them battling in the East. Because Grant Hill was coming. I mean, it's really a shame. And, he got hit with the too soft. and had ankle problems, talking to playing with a bad ankle, playing in a tournament game like they did RG3 in the NFL. You know, coach know his job on the line, so convinced the player to play hurt and was never the same after that. Almost actually died. Mercer, I think Grant Hill almost died of Mercer. I think. But I like, yeah. So both of them. I think Grant Hill had a bigger impact than Hardaway did. I think his impact was bigger. AI was the one player I wanted to see play the most. Oh, he was unbelievable at Georgetown. I mean, he was really unbelievable at Georgetown. See, when they would go, I'd go to DePaul and see my cousin play at DePaul, and I got to see him first play. Then they had pro-ams up in Chicago. Go see everybody play. Like Doc and them, when Doc and them in the summer times would come back, Reggie Theus was still in Chicago, Y'all remember Quentin Daly? They say he had raped somebody in San Francisco. Remember Quentin Daly? Seen him hoop. I was like, man, I knew I was better than Quentin Daly. I never thought he was good. But my child, what was his name? One of my guys played at Fisk, and Charles Davis. Yeah, Charles Davis. Yeah, and Charles went to Tennessee State, and Charles played the first couple years with Jordan. And yeah, he was the first one to really say, because I watched Jordan in college, and not to say he wasn't great, but what came, he was a lot. I mean, the NBA was like this guy. I mean, it ignited what he was already. No one expected what he became, the storm he became, but he was the prototype what they love. So, and remember, they all those years that they didn't make it. People forget them first 5-6 years didn't make it. Like Isaiah said, he beat them all. He beat Magic, Bird, and Jordan. He was the only one to do that. So, I got to go to pee. So, Tim Duncan, yeah, I like Tim Duncan. I say they used to, okay. Iverson was a great guy to watch. I mean, his style of basketball, he probably could have played pro football. He probably could have played wide receiver. But basketball was his dream. I guess he at one time wanted to play football at Georgetown. He said John Thompson cussed him out. But he was good enough. We really don't know how great he could have been of a football player. And his story is sad, what was done to him because he didn't go to the local high school. And he went to prison over really high school politics. That's why he went to prison, because he didn't go to the local high school. So they got back at him by putting him into prison. Stacked the deck against him, false accusation, and put that young man in prison. And look at the schools that won it the next couple years. Look at the schools he beat in 10th and 11th grade. 9th grade. I think he won the championship in football and basketball all 3 years. And then, I don't think he went to school his senior year in high school. So, but yeah, Duncan was nice. You could see he was nice. He had great fundamentals. Really, really great fundamentals. But let me find some of this news here. The news you can use. What's going on in the Great White North up here. Let's see what's going on. I already showed the thing at Joe Cap. Let's see. I know what. Oh, let's see if I can find. Let's see. Let me look this up for y'all. Some good stuff was on my mind anyway. Who is this all? And Jeffrey, if you out there, I do still got you. I can help you out. You just got to give me time. In conspiracy, what's up with you? Thank you. What is the name? Yeah, right here. Okay. It's got to be right here. If it's there, it's got to be here. There it was. There it is. All right, we'll play this. There we go. Love that. All right, I think, yeah, we'll play this. Some good stuff here. All right. Stop it. I'm going to let this run for a minute while I go to the bathroom. Okay, right here. Let's go. All right. You saying that? Doesn't appear so. I'm not hearing nothing. Why not? I'm not hearing anything. Wow. I can't hear any of that. That's amazing. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's all right. You ain't got to hear it. Okay, it's more than one way to do things. All right. I can do that. And, let's go back.
Sacrifices to.
All right, here we go. All right. Smart way to do one thing. All right. Here we go. All right.
Hold on to your Yahshua, if you like. Hold on to your Thoth, if you like. Hold on to Thoth the Atlantean. Hold on to that, if you like. But just remember that the Most High is the Most High. You won't know the name of the Most High and all of the essence of the Most High until you're truly in or back into spirit. Right now, you're a vessel. Your spirit is contained within said vessel. And so you have to understand that. And hold on 1 second, please. Now, as we continue on in our journey, most of us will pay attention to the artwork that's in the middle, and that's by myself. Most of you will see a similarity, and that's exactly what I want you to see as a similarity. But I don't want you to see a downright infringement on a copyright of something that was really not even known who made the original of this. So this is supposed to be a sigil of one of the Goetians, which would be Belial. But if you notice, anyone go in and take a look, go ahead and flip through your records of any book, you will not see it written this way. And that is because we do our own work. We don't just copy and paste. If you are a beginner, that's what you may need to do. That's fine. But for those of us that can and do, we will produce something that is original for our own. I don't have to go through here and explain why it is that I chose this particular thing, because when I go into spirit, when I go into what we call ancestor speak, or ancestor vision, eagle eye. This is what we receive. And what we receive, we put on paper. Is it the best? Absolutely not. Someone could take this image, do it again, and it'd be out of sight, baby. But we know what we can do. All right. Now, the reason why I am showing you Belial is because this particular entity, again, ancestor, that has been demonized by most mainstream religions. But I will say that in my workings, this has been a very steady entity, ancestor, that has helped guide, I would say guide, be a guidepost for me on this journey in my latter days here of making it back home to the source. And so this is why I wanted to show you this. This is a homage to Belial. And I want to give an update that for sure we are winning. Let's take a look around the world and look at your areas. Look at Chile. Chile is, for the first time, looking to be free. Looking to be free. Okay? And if you notice that the things that I told you back on my other channels when we had plenty of subscribers, the things that I mentioned to you back then and explained to you back then, you knew. And most people that didn't know me, they would just hear what I'm saying and say that was, you're talking some kind of conspiracy, dude. You know what I'm saying? You one flew over the cuckoo nest, Jack Nicholson on me, baby. I'm gonna have to fly away on you on that one, and that's okay. But what I find is great is that the things that people like myself, my brother, and others that speak in truth are being proven correct now. So in other words, the conspiracy has turned into the truth, and the truth has turned into the conspiracy. And you can take that in many different areas around. I don't have to point you as in a direction on the cardinal directions where to go to find and look. You know that every direction that someone is leading you, they have told you some kind of lie. It is hard for you to even get any kind of truth if you're not looking inward, if you're not looking in the right places, or if you're still mesmerized by the same things that mesmerize our grandfathers and our fathers while they sat and turned the pages of the newspaper and watched the daily news. If you're still in that category, you're still stuck. You're still, as they used to say, asleep. Well, now they have a term called woke. I would like to say that I'm going to stay away from that terminology. All I can say is that we that can see through the maze and the haze of downright deception, we continue on. No matter how many people, no matter how many subscribers we lose, no matter how many times somebody tells you within your family that you're crazy, no matter what, we continue on. And again, let's go ahead and look at the sources. Interesting that Elon Musk bought Twitter. When he bought Twitter, they had what they call the truth files be released. I think that's Matt Taibbi, etc. Now, the thing about that is that when the truth is let free, then you have to ask yourself, well, why wasn't it let free earlier? Because obviously, we weren't the only one that knew that people were lying. People knew that there was a lot of lies going on before us. But if you put it out there, especially if you were somebody important to them, they would take you down. They would shame you, like Kyrie Irving and Kanye West and what's his name? Well, how they dog David Icke, right? A lot of people, they will take you down, tear you down, and in some cases you can even see, because the power is balanced towards one side right now. That appears to be one side. It's just all appearance. It's all illusion. But you can see that they're going after a certain man. And that man would be Donald Trump. Yes, the millionaire. And yes, he owns a mansion and a yacht. That guy. They're going all after him. Because he dared to cross a threshold. He may have seemed precocious to many. He may have seemed like that, the braggadocious and megalomaniac. But you have to understand that he's going up against a beast. The beast is running the systems worldwide. And the course was crash course depopulation U, especially depopulation U of color. Now, that doesn't matter. Look, we're not talking about color here on this channel. But what we are saying is that you can damn sure bet that if you got a little bit of melanation to you, you are going to be came after. And all
right. I wonder, like, you can look at this. Isn't it? It's Quanon Redface, and you can look it up and hear the rest of it, and he'll tell you what being in this is. And I'm saying when they come on these names. But like I've said before, when you look at certain names and certain sigils, this is more of a grimoire, I believe. And I'm sorry, I don't believe in anything. But okay, yeah. And then just take, like, I don't know, do not know. I think this might be a Baal, but I am not sure. And again, when we look at the hours of the day and night, that what would be over again, the Clavis Key or the Magic of Solomon. When we look at over these angels, the same Raphael. I mean, all of them also have their own kind of sigil. And what my brother has done is recreated this, where this energy is more favorable. Because when you go through what the Europeans have done is they've taken something that was originally they found, and they would always put locks in it. And so so if you found a way to get into this somewhere still, the Christian lock would be there. So you're not getting the full representation. And in some way they set it up where you're only allowed so much. Again, getting into the binding and the circling. So this is something you can put together for yourself. That can give you a little energy of getting in touch and see where this can take you. So that's all. I'm back. Wanted to share that a little bit. Might come back to it. Because I can still, where are we at? Oh, right here. Yeah, I can still hold on to it. Because I'm not sure. I can always come back to that. if there's really anything going on up here, y'all. Yeah, really not a whole lot going on in the USA today up here in the Great White North. Nothing that I can point out to. So they gave us a day of rest. They quit harassing us. Quit going after people and making sad days. So sometimes they say no news is good news. Oh, and check out Lobo's video, Rigged NBA, Dreams and Nightmares. Check that out. Seemed like it was one story that had me laughing. And maybe not. Maybe not. So I guess it's just a night of prophesizing. Oh, here we go. The history of Minneapolis. Damn. Okay, yeah, this is one of them. Yeah, this is messed up. This is definitely messed up. Okay, skip it. What's going on here? Okay, something's turned off. Is that why? How did I lose this? Not sure. Let's see. I lost my audio for some reason. Got to mess with this. Capture. Nothing should be there. Huh. My goodness. Lost my audio for some reason. Don't quite know why. Well. Don't quite know why. Baffled. Very baffled. Haven't done anything different. Well, all right. Guess we got to do it the hard way. Let's try to line it up. Damn, yeah, it's a bummer that I've some kind of way lost my audio coming over. Well, I can save this. All right, what's happening? Tim Duncan, I remember Iverson shook. Oh, yeah, they showed a. All right, let's try to bring this back. All right. Where is this at? Is that where I'm at? Okay. See how close I can sync them together. No, won't be that. It'll be here.
Self-employed maximizes potential tax deduction.
Okay, I need to take it to 1 second. Right there. All right. Bring it over. And play and play.
Fourth-story window and was badly hurt. Esme Murphy is in St. Paul with the story.
This incident is still under investigation. Neighbors tell us it happened in this part of this large apartment complex in the Highland neighborhood of St. Paul. The little girl had fallen 40 feet from a fourth-floor window. Police say a displaced screen was found at the scene. The child was apparently playing with other children on a bed that was pushed up next to the window. The St. Paul Fire Department says tragically these kinds of falls are common this time of year and that parents need to be aware of what kind of furniture or objects are near a window.
A window that potentially might not be a risk to a small child, when a toy is pushed up against that area or a chair is pushed up against that area, it becomes a climbing tool, and then now they have access to something that potentially could lead to an injury.
According to the International Firefighters Training Association, an average of 3,300 children fall out of windows every year in the U.S., with an average of 8 dying. The average age is just over 5 years old. Neighbors say they are shocked by what happened and are reminding each other of the danger an open or even screened window can pose.
Oh, I was just shaking because I got a 4-year-old granddaughter, same age. And that's the reason I just moved in here a week ago and I picked the bottom floor.
In St. Paul, Esme Murphy, WCCO News.
The child was rushed to a local hospital. We do not have an update on her condition.
Wow, y'all. Wow. What was that? Yeah, I'm still not understanding why. So, wasn't all fun and games up here. Minneapolis, blah, 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 blah. Let's see, get into this. A couple more stories. Sign your kids up. Yeah, I'm still not understanding why I'm having this feed issue. Nothing's been changed. But all of a sudden, I've lost the feed. Oh well. That's all right. I guess I can prophesize the rest of the time. How long I've been going? Oh, I'm at 2 hours. Shoot, baby. I'm about to cut it till I can figure this out. Why, I can't even hear this in my headphones. It is not. Well, I will figure it out. I don't know what could cut the feed like that. Well, I do. I do know what can cut the feed like that. Yeah, it's not hard to come to the system and change something, because that's what it appears like. Something's changed in here. And nothing was done to been changed. So I got to figure this out. So, yeah. Yeah, it's very strange. Very strange. Why that's not responding. Well, all right then. I guess it's just me prophesizing. Somebody didn't like me bringing up other stuff, I guess, tonight. So, yeah, tomorrow, Friday. You know, I know a lot of people celebrate that. Friday will be, their time of relaxing, the end of whatever obligation you have. And when you're young, they try to keep you in that cycle. Yeah. Oh, there's just this thing I want to bring up. I'm not. It's interesting. I've told a story a long time ago, so I want to bring this figure down and show it. And I guess I could still even do that. Let's see. See what I can get in here. It's gonna be, I ain't gotta look that up. It's good. Whoops. It's gonna be in my natural stuff. All right, I just gotta find one of them. So it's gonna take me a few minutes, but nope, it's not gonna be here. To find one of them, because it'll make my point a little better. So bear with me, as they say, bear with me, somewhere lost in here. Lost in space. Some here it's mixed up. One of them is mixed up in here, I thought. But maybe not. Okay, it ain't this one. Maybe here? Probably not. Nope, not there. Maybe here. Maybe one stuck. Here we go. I knew it. All right, here we go. So this will make my story a little easier to understand. All right. This is a statue of Antonaken, or Antuhotep IV. I think one reason why he gets such a bad rap in history is he's one of the few that I think tell the real story over there, or a story that's more believable than some of the others. And, you know, I don't really carry a lot of this energy around me, but I do carry this energy around me because this did do something. This reprogrammed me some kind of way. I was right. I think this is the statue that was when I saw King Tut. And I've talked about this many times. But this reprogrammed me. This did something to me. This paralyzed me just seeing this. And I think this is a story and even why he's not talked about, but even what he tries to tell everybody and what appears as part of the real story and what I'm getting motivation from. Again, I don't want to hold this up, but this is like, I bought this at the exhibit where I saw all that. And I keep this pretty close because of seeing this. Now, one thing that is obvious of this cat, and I think it becomes obvious in their history that's not considered, is this cat was like, this ain't my stuff. These are not my gods. This city and this stuff ain't mine. I've got to go make my own stuff because none of this is our stuff. And I think in this history, we see a lot of people claiming a lot of these things that's in this area, and it was never theirs. I mean, we have the controversy right now because they're making Cleopatra melanated, which more than likely she would not have been pale, Greek heritage or not. Living in that part of the country, you're not going to be pale. Somewhere, you know, everybody ain't pale. Again, she's the 6th or 7th Cleopatra. But I think right here in this individual, he saw that this wasn't their stuff. That the people was tricked into believing something, some other's religion. I think he was the first one to really come out and say, this is somebody else's stuff. This ain't really our stuff. I need to take my people and put my people separate where we start. This is our stuff. This is who we really are. And I think that's why he gets a lot of the bad. At least that's the vibe, and that's the feeling I'm getting today. Is he didn't want to be taught the old ways that what really wasn't his people's ways. His people had been deceived. Now, I'm not into saying, oh, you know, the An You know, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to convince everybody to that. You know, sun worship. And really, I don't know if it's really sun worship. But it wasn't worshiping. It wasn't worshiping the traditional things that a lot of people try to take credit for that society. And I think Cleopatra is made in a way that, you know, they got to eat their words. Because the Arab people that are over in these areas, we know that these are not their people. Because these people didn't come in there till what? 1500s. And the other part is, you know, how much of it is fake too. Because when things become tourist attractions, it makes you wonder if it's real. Because all the tourist attractions are very similar. I mean, Machu Picchu, if you saw it before someone cut away whatever, it was nothing there but just growth. And all of a sudden, someone knows to cut all this away, and they had to restore some of it too. Now they're not even using it because they're down there fighting. Cutting off the money, you know, the tourist of it. So it even makes you wonder about things like that. So that just was what I was just feeling the motivation about. Like I do have, you know, this is, you can't really see it, but up here is Hathor. You can see her legs. And of course I have, again, another representation of Aset, which again is kind of a divine still representation of Hathor. So, and Hathor is a copy of the goddess Mu from the Americas. So I do keep this energy around, but it's mostly because of Anunnaki and the effect that the statue had upon me. I mean, I really think it woke up part of my DNA. And I think they're made like that. I think they were actually made to wake something up in you. It was like almost, it appeared in some instances they would build these statues, and these statues wasn't really a show of territory, but it would show a way of you getting charged by the leader. You know, that's kind of how an oracle would work. You'd go get a little advice from this area where this energy is. You know, the energy is a little where the oracles live. You know, it's more energy right there, so they might have a little more insight. And we can really be misled into thinking, you know, something that is very, they're telling us it's old and ancient, and in fact, it's more than likely not. So. What time is it? Now been going on to, okay. All right, so that was my little history lesson I wanted to put in there tonight. I wanted to add that. So if that's not working, this ain't working either. No. Oh, it's not working. Hey, Jeffrey, I still got you. I'll contact you. Huh, that is really strange. That is really strange. Yeah. This is strange, guys. Just looking at the equipment, it's not really working right. I mean, it's working right enough, but it's not. I'm not picking up this other screen. I'm not picking audio up from the system. And you know what's strange? And I'll tell you, very strange. It's like I'll tell you, it was very strange. Yeah, I think the Lakers are going to take it this year. Huh. That could be over here. Did I do something over here? Let's see. Oh. Why is this connected? Hmm. Why is this connected? Okay, I got it back. Should. Yeah, got it back. Yes, okay. Took me a second. Kevin Hart's coming to my job today, so I'm going to ask him if he's a clone. Okay. Yeah, and I'll contact you, Jeffrey. Just give me a little time. I will contact you. And shout out to Conspiracy. I see you, young man. All right. Let's get back into okay. Let's see. Okay. Oh. Okay, here we go. That's really not exciting. I want to kind of hear this. Okay, this is kind of cool.
Be asking yourself.
All right, this is kind of cool. I want to hear this and see what happened because I don't really know. So let's see. Let's rock with it. Rock with it, roll with it, rock with it, roll with it, rock. That's really not exciting.
Minneapolis says the University of St. Thomas held a block party for soon-to-be graduates.
Jonah Kaplan reports now how a special program set to graduate its fifth class.
I want to hear this and
when
see what
organizers
happened,
planned this event, they probably had no idea it would occur just one day.
Rock with it, roll with it, rock. Okay, I'm still playing. Let me turn myself off. All right. Let me come back for a second. I still hear myself. So let me turn myself off. Oh, there we go. All right. That should be better. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't need that anyway, so let's do this. Okay, we go here. Yes. All right, here we go. There we go. Yeah, I want to wonder why this is.
Give students free college tuition if their families met certain eligibility. Still, spending time here
Celebrate today in downtown Minneapolis as the University of St. Thomas held a block party for soon-to-be graduates.
Jonah Kaplan reports now how a special program set to graduate its 5th class.
When organizers planned this event, they probably had no idea it would occur just one day after the Minnesota State Senate passed a bill that would give students free college tuition if their families met certain eligibility. Still, spending time here at St. Thomas and getting to know this Doherty Family College, you recognize finances. That's not the only barrier.
What does Ohana mean?
This family's 300 strong, a group of predominantly minority and first-generation college students enrolled at the University of St. Thomas's Doherty Family College. DFC is a 2-year associate's degree program that empowers its graduates to transfer to a 4-year program with the tools to close the achievement gap and without the debt. Dean Buffy Smith would rather we call her students scholars.
There are still some food insecurities issues that our scholars have to encounter when they're trying to study. So that's why we provide them 2 meals a day. Sometimes our scholars
I would like to say black power to the sister wearing the coffee cloth. Black power.
have transportation issues, and that's why we provide them a Metro Pass. When we invest in our scholars, the return of that investment is that we're going to solve the social problems that we're facing today.
The scholars today getting a chance to celebrate their achievements and their opportunities. Jalen Hall's academic success at DFC earning her a full ride to a bachelor's degree where she hopes to major in social work and minor in criminal justice.
I'm black, I'm female, I come from a black community, and it's a lot of black.
I'm black, y'all, and 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 I'm black, y'all.
Youth who look like me who are in the criminal justice or social justice systems that need help. I don't even know where I would be in my college journey if it wasn't for DFC.
In Minneapolis, Jonah Kaplan, WCCO News.
DFC's dean says,
oh, that made me feel real good. Didn't that make y'all feel real good? That made me feel real good. I'm confused. Oh, you guys want to see this? I know you do. I know you want to feel like it, what it feels like being up here.
Get the
home on the range. You guys want to be up here home on the range where the deer and the buffalo and antelope play. Just admit you want to be home on the range.
Land in Dakota County.
In their day, bison were vital to the local ecosystem, and now there's a statewide effort to bring bison back to restore our prairies. Fox 9's Hannah Flood shows us how this project and this herd is growing.
This is something like the way it was back, I don't know, back in the 1800s or whatever, and it's really neat to see.
For the first time since the mid-19th century, beautiful bison are once again calling Dakota County home.
I've been out here when they first released them, where you could see them out in the pasture over on the other side there.
Back in October, the herd was brought to the Spring Lake Park Reserve near Hastings along the Mississippi Greenway bike path as part of a statewide program to reintroduce the native grazers to prairie lands. Since the fall, the herd has grown from 8 to 10.
I'm seeing the baby walking with the mom.
About 2 weeks ago, 2 of the bison gave birth to 2 calves. The new additions were somewhat of a surprise for park officials.
Well, we knew we were getting 8, and we knew that there was a possibility that some of them could have been pregnant.
For the last 4 years, Tom Lewinsky with Dakota County Parks has been working to bring the bison here, joining 4 other sites across Minnesota, hoping the animals can revitalize Minnesota's native prairies.
Well, in the parks, what we're trying to do is to recreate or bring back the native ecosystems that were here. It's been altered quite a bit from farming or from logging. And in the parks, we have the opportunity to restore with the forest, the prairie, wetlands and things like that.
For centuries, bison were vital to the Minnesota prairie lands and the indigenous people who lived here. The bison graze on tall grasses, which allows native flowers to grow, benefiting insects, birds, even other mammals.
So state parks is mandated by statute to reintroduce desirable species. And so we try to look for opportunities where we can restore those species that were once present, now missing, that especially can contribute to the ecosystem.
Ed Quinn with the Minnesota DNR oversees the statewide effort to bring bison back. So far,
All right. I know the natives in this area were going to bring the bison back as well. So the bison are in around my area too. So that's why this story was kind of, I was trying to see.
One day after the Minnesota State Senate.
All right. So, yeah, it's been a slow day. You know, it's little girl falling out was about the worst thing today, and that's good. That's good. What's the other thing? 2 key gun safety proposals make it public safety deal. Yeah, that's not that big a deal. What's next? I want to know what's next for me. What's going to happen here? Because they be bringing these mugs here all the time. So what's happening here? Oh, man, I'm scared. I'm like concerned. Like I live 1,000 miles away from the border. So why should I have any concerns? Let me tell y'all, before we hear this, let me say this. There's parts of Minnesota that you can walk right across Canada. There's no borders, no anything. You get caught without your passport, again, you're going to suffer some consequences. But there's still parts here where you can just go straight across. Some people go straight across, get what they want, and they come back. Literally, like if I want to go to Wisconsin, I just go about 20, 30 miles, and I go to Wisconsin, I can come right back. There's part of Canada and Minnesota that's like that. But I'm wondering, is there a bunch of people up there? Should I be, is this going to affect me? I mean, they're going to take me and boogie for more? What's happening?
Like many states, has a significant portion of the population made up of immigrants.
Again, everything is popping. Oh no, on the magenta, but okay. But the hair is nice. It looks like her natural hair. It looks good. The makeup, everything is working. All right, sister.
And with the potential flood of people experts are predicting to cross the border seeking asylum, legal experts here say it's only a matter of time before some of those people make their way here.
Why? Why would they come here other than it's one of the greatest places on earth to live? But why? Okay, let's go.
Currently, about 10% or roughly 500,000 people of the state's population is made up of immigrants. We have a number of local organizations that help asylum seekers who are escaping persecution in their home countries. They say many come to Minnesota without basic necessities of food, clothing, or shelter. Housing is by far the most difficult resource to secure. And WCCO legal contributor Joe Tamburino says it could be even more difficult in Hennepin County because of a specific policy.
Hennepin County has a policy where they will house crisis homeless people. They will give them housing. Now, not many places are like that. New York City is like that, where if they have families, whether they're here legally or illegally, who need housing, there is a policy that you're going to get immediate housing. And so, of course, that could place a burden on counties like Hennepin.
Organizations like the Minnesota Interfaith Coalition on Immigration tell us they're anticipating the need to grow dramatically. They're currently looking to future fundraising and grant opportunities to help them expand their hours and build up their financial reserves to be able to provide support for things like housing, legal fees, and transportation.
Yeah, okay. I'm still not understanding why they're showing that story. Why would they bring them all the way from Texas up here? I don't get that, but you never know. Because I saw some Afghanis here. I saw some people from Afghanistan here. No, I didn't tell this. I didn't tell this one, but digital updates about protecting turtle population. Yeah, I think everything is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, everything is pretty cool up here, I must say. City crew worked hard at removing graffiti. Damn. St. Paul's Canine Academy prepares for graduation. What? Family in search of owner's class ring. What? 3 boys try to shoot and kill middle school student. Damn, where is this at? It is rough out there. It's hard out there for a pimp. Man, it is hard out there, y'all. There we go. Turn myself off. Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. What are you saying, Jeffrey? I want a log cabin. I'm more concerned about the 85 missing children, the traffic and put under. Ooh. Yes. What is the meaning of magenta quantum? Talking about it. Time Lord will guide into the galaxy that's dropped gems of child trafficking. I haven't watched it. I'm going to see it Sunday. I didn't go see it when it came out that Thursday because of Sunday. It seems like I don't know. Magenta is like it's like the subliminal color of their power. It's like somewhere you got to put the magenta in there. Like I'm looking at my screen, there's a little bit of magenta on the bottom, and the way this looks now, looking at it, I don't see magenta. But damn, it looks like the lighting kind of back there on the fire. Candles looking on a open fire. So that's all. It seems like it's their color of control. That's kind of how my perspective of it is. And then in John Wick 3, when he jumps on the train, you see magenta just flashed. So it's kind of like, seeing the different signs, the signs of power. I get into why is anime so, occult driven. Why is Western occult in so much anime? So this is it would take a real learner, a real researcher to understand that. Why is it showing up in so many scenes? Why is time and time again is this here? So I don't know. I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I get from it. That's what it means. It's just a signal. Like everything they do is like a certain signal has to be sent out. So it's like people just gonna, the one-eyed symbol doing the hand signal, which we see in commercials, was 30 seconds, and it makes you wonder why is it in these commercials. So that's all. So that's kind of what it's from. That's why I kind of tease, when they go magenta. I just kind of tease. I don't know about Jamie Foxx. That's interesting. Usually they report on people, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Oh, now let me say, I like doing most things, and I guess I'm not the baller that I pretend to be. But Corey Holcomb, Ralph Bellamy is going to be at one of the main theaters here, and I'm pretty down. Like, if I'm gonna pay $160 for a ticket, I would have a pretty good seat watching the Vikings or the Timberwolves play. You get it? But for my fiance to have to pay $300 to sit in the balcony or $400 to be on the floor, I don't ball like that, I guess. To me, it's so many other things I could do with the money than go see these old dudes. So for anybody that wants to go, I mean, that to me seems way too much. Way too much. And I understand it's downtown Minneapolis. I do understand it's at the Orpheum. But that to me is just at 100, we might have went. We might have went. 100 each might have went. But 160, 180 inch, to sit on the floor damn near 2 apiece. Yeah, that ain't a good time to see you old dudes. To see all old comedians. And Corey's funny, but it's just, there's no way I could do it. If I can go get box seats and see the Twins play, and it's gonna be cheaper than going to see them old dudes and the young guys they bringing with them. So Corey, I have to dig you on your show because I'm not going live at the Orpheum. I'm glad you didn't go where Cat Williams went in the hood, but the tickets probably would have been, more attractive. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna report the numbers too, because the numbers will be out there. I'll report the numbers, what they gonna do at the Orpheum if they sell it out or not. I'll check that night of, because if we can get them dramatically cheaper, because the event ain't selling out, we might have to do that. We might even be able to scalp some. So we'll look into that, because I don't see them getting that prices. So if I'm proven wrong, we'll see. Not for them, but we'll see. We'll see. I think it was bold of them. I mean, it was smart not to go to the Target Center, because I don't think they could have. I mean, when I saw Charlie Murphy, Eddie Griffin, D.L. Hewley, and Sid. Eddie Griffin was funnier than all of them, but they was begging for people to come back, $100, whatever, to come back and take pictures with them. I mean, it was pitiful. And I mean, Charlie Murphy, this was the Charlie Murphy that died like a month or two later. Like, I saw him live, he was, and, a month or two later he died, and he's still traveling like that. And he was fairly funny, he had great energy, but it's like, wow, you traveling around ain't feeling the greatest. Well, guess that's called doing what you love. I guess it's appropriate for a singer, to if a singer dies on stage, at least they die, doing what they loved. So, yeah, I don't know. Jamie Foxx is an odd thing. That's an odd thing to kind of obsess. I don't know. That's a real odd thing to try to understand. So I don't get it. What he's going through. So I find it intriguing, but I don't really care too, because like we go back to the old saying. You have to stop and think, what does that mean to me? That's what it is. When I hear about Jamie Foxx, this is what I say. You have to stop and think, what does that mean to me? That's what it is. What does it mean to you? Because a person that you don't really know, that you ain't never met, but yet they have you caring, and they want you to give your energy to them. When what do you really get back from him? Giving the energy. What have you gotten back from giving the energy to that? Because that has to be considered as well. But what was returned with the concern and the energy that the people had for him? How is he returning that? So, or is there more to it? Could be, but do I care? Not really. Not really. So, that's what it is. That's definitely what it is. So, that's all. How long have I been on? Oh, pushing 3 hours on the mugs. I'm probably this might be it. You're connected to damn sure doesn't care, know about me. Yeah, that's right. So we got our own issues that we all dealing with, So, yeah. So don't worry about things that don't have nothing to do with you. It's a lot of things surrounding what's going on. Tom Cruise had his ex-wife sign a contract, and one thing in it was that she wouldn't date anyone a year surrounding the divorce. Her and Jamie were out. That could be. I mean, that could be, the Scientologist put a hit on him. Or, again, he had a daughter, he got a family, and as they come to you and say, hey, we gonna have somebody. So he might have did what I call the Walter Payton, take me. Take me. Don't mess with my family, take me. That's why it's always better to be shamed than to be killed. It's like Westbrook having to wear the dress twice. Hey, he figures, I'll be shamed twice, but the family will live. So it's better, I guess, in a way to be shamed than, to be killed. And I don't promote anything. I'm not promoting anything, but I'm saying that's where a lot of people look at it. Especially those easy kind of shames. It's those shames that are easy. That's all. So we'll see, We'll see. Those of you who want to give that energy out to him, give it to him. Hopefully it'll help him. But it's interesting when they don't say what's going on too much. You see how this daughter has a stage name, so yes, she probably would have been next. Yeah. So that could be. Could be. And we see how he got his start. He showed that he would go all the way from the very beginning. He made his character like, Flip Wilson made his character, as a trans dresser on the show. Remember, that's what Flip Wilson had to do when he had his show. I think his show was on NBC too. But he had the Geraldine. And that was acceptable. When he would come out dressed as Geraldine and, so for him to have a TV show, he had to dress like a woman part of the time. But remember, cartoons, they made Bugs Bunny dress like a woman sometime too. So cartoons don't get away with either. Remember? Bugs was like, man, I don't really want to wear the dress and shake my ass like that. And it's like, Bugs, you got to shake your ass or we're going to get the bunnies. We're going to get your bunnies, Bugs. So Bugs had to dress up like a woman too, so that's how it goes. Tom suspected them being together. Jamie played in the NBA celebrity game, and the commentator said how he's been playing one-on-one with Heidi. He jumped in and was looking scared, damn near ran. Wow. I did not know that. Wow. Could be. Scientologists sending peoples after you. Them and, they sending Nation of Islam and Raza Islam after him. Raza after him. One funny thing about Corey Holcomb, when somebody was saying something about Farrakhan, he was like, why the dude go to say something about the minister? Why is he going to misquote the minister? I think Corey is Islam leaning. He said when he's in Chicago, he went to Messenger's Day or Savior's Day, Savior's Day. So I think he is Muslim curious, I guess. He also talked about P. Diddy being gay. Well, yeah, that's been out for a while though, and he ain't the only one saying them stories. Does make it, like Pimp C. It's easy to kill a drug addict. That's why you see, Prince, Michael Jackson, these dudes that was drug addicts. It's easy to get rid of them. You get them hooked in their young days. Then the people start having health issues. And the health issues, it's easier and easier to get this stuff. Ain't nobody saying no. You dig? Nobody saying no. So, these people, they watch them destroy themselves. And that's the contracts they sign. That's to understand about the, entertainment business. It's part of it. It's part of you feeding the beast. It's part of feeding the beast. The beast wants a celebrity, wants a star. the beast gets to get fed by a star. This is what you're talking about right here. Okay. Okay, so you got it. You got it right there. Okay. Is that how it works? Let's see. Okay. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Favorite entertainer, the one and only Jamie Foxx, representing Team Clippers tonight in the Ruffles All-Star Celebrity Game. Hey man, I know you got a busy schedule. Y'all got a loaded roster. I see you wore the fresh 11s for the game tonight. How much did you prepare for this game?
I'm always prepared, man. It's a ready-made thing. All you got to do is add water, man. As soon as you pour water on me, it's crazy.
And I know you prepared because I saw pictures. Did you and Katie Holmes play basketball for Valentine's Day? Like some real loving basketball game? Uh-oh. Are we losing?
Damn, look at the look on his face. Now, who's he looking at there? Okay, he doesn't really look like he wants to do this interview anyway.
Because I saw pictures.
Now, look, he's looking at somebody.
Did you
Okay.
and Katie Holmes play basketball for Valentine's Day?
Wow.
Like some real loving basketball game? Uh-oh. Are we losing? Oh, he ready. He ready to go. He ready to hoop.
Wow.
All right, NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll be joined now by my favorite entertainer.
Wow. I think that was it. Yeah, just a quick little quote.
The one and only Jamie Foxx, representing Team.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah, he wasn't uncomfortable. He was definitely uncomfortable with that. He ain't had nothing to say. Let me check this out to see. And this is from 2018. And this is a year ago. Inside Katie Holmes and Jamie Foxx secret romance. But that was a long time ago, so I don't know. So good share. Good share. Yeah. Good share. Yep. Definitely a good catch. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. What did they say Prince's last words was? Just when I thought I was safe. And I guess that's it. Well, I think I'm a go. Guess this would be the easiest way to give out some energy. Yeah, cause like man, trying to figure out. Let me look at the calendar here. Yeah, because Friday the 26th is the day out of time in the long count. So literally, this is going down, and we are. Let's see. What in the... Oh, there it is. So tonight we are day 14, 13 cartoons, 13 batoons, 0 cartoons, 10 tunes, 9 unos, and 14 kin. And the token date is 2x. The Habib date is 2 sip, and the Lord of the Night is G5. So day 14. It's not in here. Oh, there it is. Good. And so day 14. Ah, right here. So this is called, let me see if I can find it here for y'all to give a greater explanation to see if we can find it. Yeah. Give you a little extra power to it. Need to. All right. Bring it back in. So. Let's see if that gets me anything. Not really. Let's see. It did not give me what I needed. Close. But that's not really, that would be faking it. I could show that, but that is not really what I need. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see. Let's see, one more search. One more search. See if it's here already, okay. Maybe this will help me out here. Yeah. All right, this does help me out. Okay. One. Right here. All right. All right. Be still 14. 14 is 14. Oh, right here. Oh, okay, right here. Let's see. Ik, Manic, Lamont. They're not really in order, but 10, 18. It's the same but different. This might be the one I need. Pop, zip. Okay, Zoots. Cheechin, and the other name is Ben, but there's another name. They each have a couple different names. So not really a couple, but it's just the way they're pronounced. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Conkin. Yeah, it is, and then it isn't. Let's see here. Where am I here? All right. That's not giving me what I want. Technically, this isn't either, so I will have to grab another card. But not really. Not really. I'll use the book to get to. But I do have the card. Here we go. Because the names are different sometimes, so. Yeah, it's the same thing. So for Ben, which is going to be your Friday, yeah, right here. In here. Right here. Okay, I'm sorry. And it's funny the way the card is. This is Ben. I wonder if this thing would hold it up. And it's not really represented on any of my charts over here. They're mostly giving me the Aztec name. 14 is also, yeah, it's Jaguar also. It's interesting though that none of them this moment are using the same references. That is just odd that none of the references are used, the one I'm using, which is very odd because what I'm using in there, they're using the other glyphs. So oh God, yeah, tune. All right. Wow, this is Sacred God, Kuka Kuka. That is, I want to keep that. Yeah. Good. Anyway, is this none of this? Maybe this? All right. Close enough. All right, this one right here is Ben. Right here. This is Ben. I even think this one has it too. Right here. Ben. All right. It's this representation. And there's also this representation. Okay. So Ben, the number again, as you can see, the color for today is sunset pink. Oh, I messed up. Oh, I messed up. It's not Ben, it's 14. I miscounted. It's men at 14. No, that's 15. Yeah, it's 15. Yeah, I'm all over tonight. It is actually ick because it's 14. I miscounted. So I should have went with the original card because it's 14, but it's actually, well, it's still this. Okay, it's ick right here. I'm sorry, it's ick. At 14, I miscounted. And right here. So again, it's this here, but it's also since it's day 14. Okay. Again, ick or 14. Sorry, it took me a minute. My dyslexia gets me when I get nervous. So the other representation is this. Is this right here? Ben. Or ick, excuse me, ick. This means 14, ick. And ick, again, the lucky number would be 14. It's opulence or iridescence. Basil would be the flower or herb. Flower essence would be sunflower. Scent would be pakalali. Stones, motivite, opal, crystal ball, rainbow, moonstone, green, watermelon, tourmaline. Personal power, control, will of alignment with divine will. Need for approval and recognition, mind out of alignment with a heart knowing. All right. It is known by Mildred Faces, the Sunrunner, the torchbearer of the larger vision, the healer, the mystical builder, the indicator into the mysteries. It is also the magicians whose power are activated by the wisdom that emulates from the heart. Such wisdom is not that intellectual understanding known in Western culture, rather the wisdom that comes from alignment of mind and heart. An open, trusting heart is a refined tool of perception, allowing oneself to not know opens the door of the mind to receive. Universal wisdom directly, it asks you to fully unite this alignment mind to participate in magic. A Starhawk author of the Spiral Dance says magic is the art of sensing the subtle, unseen forces of flow through the world, awakening levels of consciousness beyond the rational mind. Magic's dimensional doorway opens through simply being. It appears to be extraordinarily, yet it can often be found within the ordinary. If your eyes are open to seeing it, magic is not an action. It is a type of perception. Magic requires reverent attention to the present moment. When you are in a communion with what is, energy is freed that naturally shifts your awareness into higher frequencies of information. Conversely, what hinders magical perception is insufficient energy due to resistance, lack of love, attachment, attraction, aversion of all kinds. If you tend to want to control with your ego, magic will elude you. Magic functions in a non-linear, non-causal realm that is not able to be controlled by your ego mind. Magic perception is open, allowing spontaneous, unpredictable magic requires flexible awareness to show its mysterious face. Doubt exists in the mind. Magic exists in the heart. When you experience all things that are possible here and now, sadly, doubt disappears and magic appears. Recognize you live in a limitless reality of creational possibilities. Doubt obscures those possibilities from your awareness. You are a creator. Magic simply reminds you of that fact. So you recognize your magical potential. but also give a little more out. We can also throw the tarot out there too, which this is the Mayan tarot or tarot, and it would be the Temperance Man too. 14. And it's a person who knows what they will do when they eat. When they eat, they eat. When they drink, they drink. They know a thought as though and nothing more. It's an understanding of the order of things because there is no separation from them. There's no possibility of giving space to another possibility of defending one's own space. This is the fool's place of preference, his place for meeting with powers. It is the place of the emotional plane which faces the setting sun, the place where secrets are revealed. Here every rock, every pebble, every blade of grass, and every thought is under the care of the fool. He's responsible for the place because the powers demand it. Every worm that lives in it is his friend, and he can use them so they can use him. The sacrifice of the hangman card made the place of the refugee possible. It results of the fool's ability to understand the cosmic order and the relationship he, if necessary, has with it. Sacrifice involves all those things the fools were capable of doing and all those he may be able to develop, but because of wisdom does not develop, he sees the destruction of the ecology that would result from upsetting of the balance of things. He represents the balance upon which natural order has an anchor. Ben, meaning growing on thought, is the name given by the Mayans to this stage. This one gives this tribute to vibration. The root of the word is vibrate, which means to oscillate in harmony. From this root comes the word vita, meaning to live, and the English word viper, snake. The original word is still the same, vikahora, which vibrates. The way out, begun in the death card, is continued in the temperance card. The seed is sprouted and is pale green and shoots broken. The fool has power to create a temperance society, a place where there is something of everything but not too much of anything. The fool knows that his place must exist first within himself. He knows that it is a place of harmony and balance where he may rest for a while on the journey up, a place where he has his skin sensitized to the vibration of the universe. Someone to give some of that energy out for free. Take of it as you must. Doesn't have to mean anything to you at all. I read a card, Christian lady was saying, cards and others and stones, instead of being a Christian, instead of just believing in a European Jesus. This is a powerful card, I guess, for today, looking at it. Culture, art, manifestation, ecology, economy, regeneration. And there's no opposite on this card. So great energy in it today. So take out of it as you wish, All right. It was funny last night. I wish I could have got it on tape. And it didn't even catch me do this. As soon as I was about to get off last night, I started thundering. And it's really weird. Tyler, can you watch this before you go? Let's see what we have here. What is this? Crash retrieval. I can't see anything here, Jeffrey. This is like, I can't even see anything here. Like this makes no sense. And this is from 2000. Firemen, not ETs. Yeah, this is so blurry that you can't tell what you're seeing here. It says airfield, Hill Airfield, Chester. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not understanding what. It's not clear. This is like makes no sense. This is like how they show Bigfoot, Jeffrey. So thank you, but there's nothing. It's too blurry. It's too blurry. I can't. I don't know what I'm teaching here. Yeah, it's just too blurry to see anything. Yeah. Sorry. Can't roll with that, buddy. That is too blurry. Too blurry. Well. Oh my goodness. Where's Prince when we need him?
Be satisfied. Y'all not gonna be satisfied until we get.
And let's check in. Let's check in with my homeboy Nick Taylor. Nick Taylor, what's going on with you today?
Me and Bubba trying to rescue some kittens.
That is noble, and we're glad you're doing it. Malcolm, take us away.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
Tomorrow, Friday, I am not coming on Friday nights. I do not do Friday nights. Remember that. I'm going to see if I can do daytime tomorrow, but no promises. I might do the Laker game, but I don't know. So.
Off my dome, this is actually taught by the people who are ancestors of the Mayans in.
That's right.
It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it. Group of you together, you never can tell who's who.
My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes.
I wouldn't do that if I was you.
And you two motherfuckers need Jesus.
What's going on in there?
That's what me and this nigga do. We pick something and then we ran about it. It all breaks down to, what does this mean to me? What does this event mean to me?
I think we
How does this
OD.
event affect my thinking? It all breaks down to, what does this mean to me?
I think
What
we
does this event mean
OD.
to me? How does this event affect my thinking? Affect my way of life?
Get up, get on up, get up, get on up.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
I'm legendary in this motherfucker. I just be shopping and shit, you know, drinking and shit, do a little smoking and shit. Hey, homie, what? I stopped playing. I stopped playing games and I mastered the art. I'm legendary in this motherfucker. 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 All right, y'all. Till we meet again, say less. The animal spirits, that part. That part, really.